Now, I've done a lot of segments showing how rules put in place are there for the benefit of the two-party system, the two-party establishment. And I've also done videos on how these rules are intended to shut out independents and candidates that are not so-called establishment friendly. People, for example, like Bernie Sanders. Now, however, Spokesman for Hillary Clinton is now actually accusing Bernie Sanders of using the rules to rig the system against her. Now, this is Brian Fallon, and he's the press secretary for Hillary Clinton, and he told CNN recently that Clinton actually now has more votes, right? And it's true, and therefore, somehow him being behind in delegates and trying to court superdelegates in states that he's won is him attempting to rig the system. Look, take a look at this quick clip.
Is the system rigged in that way?
And really, I think when you talk about rigging the system, that's what Senator Sanders is trying to do now. Hillary Clinton has won in the popular vote by a wide margin. She's got more than 2 million votes over Senator Sanders in all the contests when you add them all up. She's won more states. She's won more pledged delegates. So now that's forcing Senator Sanders to go out and talk about the idea that he wants to try to flip superdelegates and get him to overturn the will of the people as expressed through who's won the most contests.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's not what he's doing. See, what he's trying to do, in places that he's won, there are superdelegates that have actually pledged themselves to Hillary Clinton no matter what. Which means, even though he has won the state, and he's won more delegates in the state. I'll give you Wyoming for an example, because that's the big one. Well, Wyoming, he won a 12-point victory. He crushed her. He walked away with 7 delegates. She walked away with 7 delegates. However, when you include the superdelegates pledged to Hillary Clinton, her total ends up being 11-7. Wait a minute. Meaning that out of that contest in Wyoming, she got more pledged delegates. Even when he wins, he loses. And yet this guy says, no. Him trying to get those superdelegates back over to his side to represent the will of the people in states like Wyoming, that's you attempting to rig the system. You're a hypocrite. This is desperate, man. And look, here's the thing, right? He's a bullshitter. This guy is an absolute bullshitter. He says, look, she's won more states, right? She's won more states. She's won the popular vote. That's true. And that's why she has a lead in pledged delegates right now. She has a 200 pledged delegate lead because she's won more votes. Duh. Nobody disputes that. That's called math, right? However, out of the pledged 500 delegates, right, or superdelegates that have already been pledged to someone, she's got roughly 400 and something of them, right? 469, 4 something like that. And he's got like, what, 22? Somewhere around there. Those are rough estimates, really. Those are the superdelegates. She's got the majority. She's doing pretty well. And yet somehow he wants to claim that he is rigging the system. Now, in my view, we shouldn't have the superdelegates. They shouldn't be pledged to anyone. And really, in reality, they shouldn't be pledged to anyone until they get to the convention, where they are able to flip between whoever has the most pledged delegates. Now, right now, she has the most pledged delegates. Fair enough. Okay. If come the convention and she does not have more pledged delegates, and the superdelegates stay to Clinton, we're going to have an issue. We're going to have a huge issue. But anyway, this sort of underscores why superdelegates shouldn't even exist at all. We shouldn't have the system because it's undemocratic, because they have this ability to switch whatever they want, to flout the will of the people. We wouldn't be having this discussion if they didn't come up with this idea. And look, it wasn't Clinton that came up with this idea. It wasn't Debbie Wasserman Schultz, right? It was the Democratic Party back in the 1960s after George McGovern lost. They wanted to prevent another George McGovern. They think that Bernie Sanders is George McGovern. He is by far not. I can show you poll after poll after poll where Bernie Sanders is a stronger candidate in the general election Why? Because he not only attracts Democrats and liberals, but he also goes to moderates, independents, and he can even pull Republicans. He's got wide appeal. His ideas have got wide appeal. More appeal than what Hillary Clinton right now is selling. Plus, he's more trustworthy. I gave you that poll as well. He is the more electable candidate. He's not George McGovern. And the fact that he's done so well in this, what should have been and was trying to be a coronation for Hillary Clinton, that she's had such a tough time going up against him, shows that he is incredibly competitive because the atmosphere is right. And these arcane rules are there to make sure, like back in a system where Bernie Sanders, in an election where Bernie Sanders would not have been competitive. But it's different these days. It's different now. And the system is old, it's outdated, antiquated, and it's gotta go. It's gotta go. But here's the thing, right? This is another desperate attack by the Clinton campaign. At this point, since they're so close in delegates, at this point they're throwing everything they've got at him. The Minuteman militia thing, I've seen articles on that coming back up. Clinton hitting him on that again, which no, he did not support Minutemen militia groups. The gun issue where he actually makes sense. Yet you shouldn't sue manufacturers for somebody misusing your product. Every other industry should have that protection. You shouldn't be able to sue Honda if someone buys your car and runs over someone with it. That doesn't make any sense. It's just a sensible thing. What's more sensible on the gun issue is to regulate guns. You pass laws and rules and regulations to restrict certain people from getting their hands on firearms. You don't go after the manufacturers. And trust me, I am loath to defend the gun manufacturers of the gun lobby. I don't like the gun lobby. I'm not exactly a friend of the gun lobby. But on this, it makes sense. You go after them with rules and regulations. You don't go after them in this way. But here's Hillary Clinton going after Bernie Sanders on that issue. Where I think most of the country is like, no, that doesn't make any sense, Hillary. It doesn't make any sense at all. Let's get more regulations like background checks. That makes sense. But anyway, it's just another attack. And this latest one is them saying, no, we're not rigging the system against you. You're rigging the system against us. That makes no sense. They're throwing shit at the wall and they're trying to see what sticks. Make no mistake, man. Hillary Clinton has fought to get into the system. And she fought very hard. She broke glass ceilings, and I applaud her for that. However, she's also benefited from the system when she got there. She benefits from the system, and now she fights on behalf of the system. Make no mistake that she, more than anyone running in this race right now, is the system, is the establishment.